Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and well, I've got to I've got to hand it to Chris, right? Only Chris could do a van tour of a van after they get home. After they get home, they're actually home. Everybody knows they're home because he showed in the last vlog that they were home. They've had all those months away, right? And yet he chooses to release the van tour when they get home, when it's no longer relevant. That's how much of a business brain he is. It's incredible that he actually is a business guru, really, that advises people on how to make it big and everything, because this is one of the biggest fuck ups I think he's done in a while. Even I'm lost for words. However, if you thought it was going to be fucking boring, then think again. It literally was the most entertaining half an hour or more of my life. So if you're thinking, oh, I can't be arsed with this, I'm going to click off, right? Don't be so silly, right? I lose instant respect for you. Honestly, you want to stay within my team, right? You gotta I don't know, right? Anyway, yeah, it was a van tour. They're not actually on the road, by the way. I think people know that, judging by the latest figures on the vlog. 13k at the time of recording. Not great, Chris, not great, I'm not gonna lie. It almost feels as if your iFam couldn't give a fuck. They're probably actually pretty disappointed that that there's no B&M vlog today. Probably looking forward to that, but instead they've got your bloody Sprinter van, DPD van. Yeah, so let's do it, shall we? For the month of October only, we have the Halloween merch line over at the merch store. The cutest raccoon ghost on the internet. If you want yours today in a line of hoodies, t-shirts, notepads, all sorts of things, go over to the merch store today. Link in the description box below. Without further ado, let's get back onto the video. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to say it again, right? I know I've said it already at length, but I'm going to say it again. Why is there a van tour after you are home? You are not on tour, right? You are actually home from said van trip, and any van lifers or anybody who had any interest in why or where or how you fit all your kids in the back of that van, right? And we know that you like to fit kids in the back of vans. Anyway, all that interest is gone. It's gone. Nobody cares anymore, right? Any interest that there was is no longer there. People are there now waiting for their home bargains hauls, copious amounts of plastic plants and things like that. That's what they're there for whatever reason. I don't really understand it, but that's what they want. But no, van tour it is, whilst back home.
So we quickly realised that we didn't need to do anything super crazy, super wild in order for us to still travel together.
Hang on, what the hell was that intro? That wasn't an intro, that wasn't welcome to our van tour, or this is our van tour. It was, we quickly realised, what? I mean, what's going on? Sarah, please do explain what it is we're here for, because I'm baffled.
As a large family, and so just before this trip we decided to get an older, compact camper.
Wait. What you're saying here is that you didn't sleep the 8 in the van, because according to your van tour title clickbaity thing, right, it says that it's a van tour of 8 people, right? So you fit in 8 people in that van. But now you're saying you didn't fit 8 people in that van. We also know that you didn't. It was only a van for 5 people. You only slept 5 people in there. So already off the bat, it's a bit of a lie. You know, it's not stretching the truth. It's just an outright lie, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
This enabled the girls to be able to put their own stamp on it.
Okay. £4,000. That's not bad, actually, is it? It's not. That's quite reasonable, £4,000. But what I'm looking at here is that it's a 2009. Fucking, that's 15 years old. That. Yeah, it does look a bit. To be honest with you, it does look pretty dated. Let's be honest. But I thought Mr. 10k a day there could afford a little bit more. I know we go over this quite frequently, Sarah, but I would have thought that you would have been able to afford a little bit better than that. But, you know, I mean, 4k, that's just like a drop in the ocean compared to the millions you claim to have in the bank right now.
Lam it up a little bit, put their own touch on it, put some pinksy cutesy throws in there, and basically just do what they want to their own space. And they absolutely loved it. This is by far the best trip we've ever done together as a family, and we've done all sorts of travelling, from luxury holidays to more budget holidays to luxury big RV vans to tents
to Disney World, Florida, you know, all those places. Are you trying to tell me that this trip here in the back of a van and a trailer was actually better than all the all-inclusives that you've ever had? I'm thinking no. I'm sorry, I'm not having it.
Motorhomes, van life, we've done it all. And this, I would say, is the best setup and the best trip we've ever done together as a family. And I 100% believe that is because of the layout that we've got now. It was so nice for the girls to be able to even just take some time away from their younger siblings, which might sound super strange, but
now that one statement shows everything you need to know about Sarah and her beliefs and her weird ideals, because why would it be super strange that the older ones want time away from the younger ones? That is normal, right? That is normal person behaviour. What is not normal is spending every second of every day with their younger siblings, right? But you think that it's abnormal to want to have time away from your younger siblings, which means that your attitude is that they should be all together all the time, which is weird.
And the older girls want to do something like watch a movie together, have some peace and quiet, read books, do their schoolwork, because obviously we school on the road.
Schoolwork, eh? I've never heard such an outlandish proposition as schoolwork. Do tell me more about this schoolwork. Well, I've never actually seen them do any schoolwork. Not that I'm suggesting that they have to, you know, show us or anything, but it just, there's no evidence going on at all. It's very abnormal, I think, anyway.
And things like that. They were able to do that in their own space with no distractions from their younger 3 siblings.
And did Isabel manage to get her colourings done a bit quicker? Did she manage to get through more colouring books than she usually would with Jace knocking about? Is that what the problem is here? Colouring.
And not only did it give the girls some extra space, it meant just collectively as a family we had so much more space to put things. One of the biggest things for me on a trip that we do like this, where it's a super long one, we're there for like over a month, on the road for over a month, it's really important to have space in like fridges and things like that. And as a large family, sometimes when you're in a Sprinter van or any other self-converted van, sometimes the fridges are not quite as big as you'd want them. So the fact that we had the compact on the back, not only did it mean that the girls had their own privacy, their own space, it meant that we had more toilet space, it meant that we had more fridge space.
More toilet space. Sarah, you famously are not allowed to use the toilet in the van. Remember, you're not allowed to go. It messes up the whole aesthetic of the whole situational van crappy thing, right? We've already been through this. You're not allowed to use the van toilets, right? You have to wait until you get to like a McDonald's or something like that, or a campsite. You gotta hold it in for about 3 days, right?
We just had more storage space in general, and it just worked so much better than I ever even imagined it would. But we're not talking about the compact in this video, we're talking about the Sprinter van. So the Sprinter van did have a few upgrades for this trip. Lots of them were technical, like lifts on the body and things like that I really don't care too much about. I don't understand half of the stuff that Chris is talking about, so I'm going to leave all the technical stuff to Chris.
Do you know what you just said, Sarah? We're sitting through this van tour, right? Your IFAM are sitting through this van tour, and yet the person who is actually on the van trip doing van lifing herself doesn't care about the whole van life stuff, right? What if you yourself don't care about it? Why do you expect us to care about it? Why do you expect your IFAM to be bothered, right? They're not bothered, as you can see from the views. But why do you expect them to want to watch it and expect to care about the things, the upgrades and all the little gadgety things and stuff like that, if you yourself, who lived the experience, who loves going on these experiences, don't care about the van upgrades and the van life shit, right? Why should we care about it?
But a few things that we did upgrade that were a big deal for this trip was some custom cushions fitted, a custom sofa. Chris built this caravan himself, and he built all this sofa space that we've got here, but we did feel like from last trips and the feedback that the girls gave that we just needed something a bit better. Sorry babe, sorry.
You needed something better, but the last time you were in that van, you said it was amazing, you wouldn't have it any other way, it was fantastic, it was brilliant, they loved the closeness, they loved how cramped it was, they loved how they couldn't move, they loved sharing beds with each other, and all of that. And now what you're saying is that, in actual fact, they wanted something better.
We needed something a bit better. The seats were slightly too narrow, the cushions were fine, but I don't know, they felt a bit slippy to sit on, and we just felt like we wanted to upgrade the seating area. So this went into a place to be professionally done, because as good as Chris is, he's not a professional at everything.
How dare you! God, I've never heard such nonsense in all my life, right? We know Chris is a professional doctor, a professional pilot, a professional physician. He's a storm chaser, professional storm chaser. He is a professional electrician, I think. What else? Anybody else? With any recollection, what else is he he's a professional at everything he does. He's fantastic. Don't be saying that he's not a professional at everything, Sarah, because you know Chris is amazing, right?
So this sofa was a custom built for us by a lovely guy called Will at a company called Van Life Camper Conversions, and it's absolutely perfect. It worked so well. The girls said it was absolutely perfect for sitting on for drives. It were really comfortable, and this is where Chris sleeps on a night time, so we'll show you how this all converts into a bed a little bit later on in the video. But it worked really well, it was super comfortable, and yeah, it was a massive upgrade from what we had before. We also got a ceiling upgrade. Now when Chris first told me about this, I was a little bit unsure, I can't lie. And then when he got back and he told me before I came into it, we've only done half the ceiling. I was even more, I was like, what? He's like, no, trust me. So we left half black and then we just did the half a ceiling. And then Chris installed these lights. But I actually think it looks really nice. I think it's a really good finish. It just brightens up the van.
I think Chris has an unhealthy obsession with lighting, to be honest. He's always on about changing lights and stuff and putting up those sparkly pinky things and pinky changey purpley ones and stuff like that. You know, his LED lighting, he loves the lighting. It's weird, it's odd. He's very like, yeah, I mean, this isn't that, but he does tend to like sticking up like brothel type lighting. It's very strange.
So much as well when you're inside it, and yeah, it just adds a really nice warmth to it. I just love it, and I love the lights that Chris put in as well. I just feel like it really adds an element to the van. Another thing we added was a water cooling machine. This is absolutely fantastic.
No, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Honestly, I thought I could do it, but I can't do it. You've already been through this water cooler thing, right? Remember, like, months ago when you started off on this stupid van tour, you actually went, you told us about this water cooler thing and how amazing it was and how you installed it and how it was great for the kids, how they could get their own water whenever they wanted to. It was boring back then, right? I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking boring when you were talking about it last time. I'm not going to sit through it again. I can't. Honestly, it's like it's killing me. Anyway, this van tour in itself was fucking brilliant. I'm not gonna lie, it was absolutely out of this world. Listening to Sarah talk was just like heaven, wasn't it? Yeah. Love it. She sat there in her Beetlejuice dress and everything. It's great. Loved it. Couldn't have asked for more. Fucking hell.
And so vital for a large family. Obviously you can't fit like 6 2-litre bottles of water in there, so which is what we sometimes drink a day when we're travelling. So a water cooler here, this holds I believe 9 litres of water, and it's instantly cool. You just get a cup from the box down there, pop it on and press this button here to disperse the water. And that was absolutely fantastic for Jace and Mila, who are 5 and 3, because it meant that they had a bit of independence. Sometimes I feel like they need help with quite a lot of things when you're on a van trip like this. They need the toilet, they need help. If they, you know, anything that they need to do, if they want to get some toys out, we need to help them get them out. And I feel like having the water thing there just gave them that bit of independence. They didn't have to ask for the water, they could just go and help themselves, which I really, really liked. We also have an ice machine, and that is just in the opposite cupboard down here. My husband especially loved using this. And then we've got a swing around TV, which is perfect for watching family movies. And we even have up here an Xbox. And actually this trip, nobody used that, not even once. It didn't even get used once. But it's cool to still have, if we're having like, I don't know, cozy rainy days where we're all sat in the van not doing too much. It's nice to have the option to be able to play games and things like that. Another one of Chris's little splurge purchases, I don't know if it's a splurge, I don't even know how much they cost, but something that was a bit random. He put them in and he was really excited about it, and I was like, right. But it actually became one of my favourite upgrades for this trip, were the Van Essential Max Fan covers. So basically, one of these. So we have 2 huge, or regular normal size, I don't know why I'm adding the word huge, but we have 2 max fans in this van. We've got one here at the front of the cabin, and then we've got one down here above the large back bed. And on all previous trips we've ever been on, it's just basically been like that. So these are actually really efficient at keeping you cool even when you're in hot temperatures. They're really powerful, and they don't just fire out hot air like most fans do. They're fantastic, and they're like a staple for all van conversions. So it's called the Max, yeah, it's just called the Max Fan, and I really like them. However, they do let in a bit of light on a morning. It's never been a problem on previous trips, but they do let in a bit of light, and if you like to keep it dark in your van in the morning, then these are fantastic. I believe Chris just installed some magnets around, and it just super easily pops on like that with the magnets. I hate being too hot when I'm sleeping, like I hate it. I would rather be freezing cold, wrapped up in a duvet than feel any type of heat. So I did most nights sleep with the max fan on above my bed. And obviously you can't have the cover on if you've got the max fan on, or there'd be no point because it would just block the cool air coming in. And Aurora's the same. She always sleeps so much better when it's a bit cooler. So what I used to do was keep the cover at the side of my bed, and I'd keep the max fan on all night, and then whenever Aurora woke up for a feed, like when it got light, so the first time I guess we'd woke up when it got light, I'd just really easily press the button to turn the max fan off and then magnet the cover on, and it worked really well. I feel like we all slept so much better. Even though I didn't realise we were disturbed on last trips with the sunlight, I feel like maybe we were. I don't know, I really liked that upgrade, so that was another one that we did for this trip. So now let's talk about storage and where we keep everything. These large 3 cupboards just above the sofa area here is where we keep all of the food. We pretty much have like a bread, oh gosh, look at this. This is what you call an end of the trip mess. We did start off with boxes like this, but they just, over the last few days of the trip, I guess, they just completely got a mess. So this definitely all needs clearing out now. And then this end one, which is actually another thing that we bought for this trip, has an air fryer in it, and the air fryer we blooming loved. We used the air fryer quite a few times on this trip. The only problem is you need to get quite a small one. Well, you can't get a giant one anyway, so we did have to get quite a small one to be able to run it on the van power. But that did often mean that we couldn't eat together a lot of the time, so it'd be like me stood there for about an hour trying to make everyone's meals. Like, you could fit, say, like 2 to 3 persons' meals in that air fryer. So 2 to 3, I could do like all the 3. Basically what I'd do was like 2 little ones and a big one. So like maybe Aurora, Mila and Isabel's, and then I do Jace, Mila and Esme's, and then mine and Chris's. So yeah, it just meant that we had to adapt a little bit and wait. But it did mean that we got to cook some nice meals in the air fryer, so I definitely still recommend that. We all really enjoyed being able to use it. And then just behind the sofas, we do also have this really narrow cupboard here, but this is really deep. It's like the hole is really deep, even though it's quite narrow, but we did fit quite a few bits in here. It's all a big mess at the minute. There's the tea bags that you can see there. We also use that for things like plastic cups, like flasks, like the children's flasks, bottles of juice we'd put in there. We'd keep apples, you know, fruit that like takes up so much space, like oranges, apples, bananas we sometimes kept in there, although bananas never last more than like 2 minutes in our family. Onions, we keep like spare toilet rolls, kitchen roll. It's actually a really big cupboard and it does hold quite a lot, so that's where we keep things like that. And then for clothes, so we use packing cubes because we just feel like they work so well, especially on van trips. So you know where everyone's clothes are, you know, it's even better if you can colour code the packing cubes, and they all went basically just here above the cabin, and it's really easy to just grab a packing cube, get the clothes out, shove it back. So that worked really well for us this trip. And then aside from that, we do also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 Trones. So these are from IKEA, and I think they're actually meant for like shoes in your hallway or something, but they work really, really well in the van. So the end 2 down there, the last one is Chris's, and he kept in there like, I don't know, 5 days worth of clothes, maybe a week's worth. You can fit like a week's worth of clothes in them. The next one along was mine, and then under Jace and Mila's bed, there's actually 7 Trones, so there's 3 also under Jace and Mila's bed, and in those ones we kept the younger ones' clothes and their pyjamas and their underwear and swimming wear and things like that. And then in the last 2 are things like plates, cups, and and things like that, which is why these have these on, the little clasp things to stop them opening when we're driving. So obviously we wouldn't want that opening and anything falling out whilst we're driving, so that's why these are on there, to keep them secure and closed. And they work really well as well. We also use one of these down here on our hidden fridge, and again, like you can see, another Trone down here at the door as well. And this one we use for shoes, because obviously having a large family, you don't want all of the shoes taking up the small space to get into the van, basically. So we use this one for shoes. There's like candles and random bits in there, but the reason this is on here is because if you unclip that, and then just in this little drawer there's a few hooks, if you pull it, it opens out to a bottom quite large fridge. And I will say that is definitely needed. Even with the smaller fridge we've got here, and the one in the caravan, and that one there, we still sometimes had to question, we can't buy that, we don't have the fridge space when we're in supermarkets. But like I say, we are a family of 8, so when we get shopping, there's usually quite a lot of shopping. It's not just like 4 pints of milk and that's going to last us a few days. No, that 4 pint of milk will be gone by tomorrow. And then to sleep, obviously the older 3 girls had their own compact caravan, which is where they slept. Me and Aurora had the large double at the top, at the back of the bed. I absolutely love sleeping on there. It's always so cozy, so comfy. It's just a really comfy bed and it's fantastic. And then Jace and Mila, bless their hearts, they had their own little den this trip and they absolutely loved it. Not only did they like sleeping there, and they slept so well all night, never ever once woke up through the night, but they also loved just playing under there when we were parked up and stopped. It was really nice when you could have like the doors open at the back and they could just play on their bed or read or play on their iPads or watch a movie, because they do also have a TV under there as well. It's just a really nice space under there. There is a few things that we want to change for a next trip that we do in this van. Chris has got some ideas that will make their little private space better for them, and it does sound like it will be a good idea. So there is a few things that we'll be changing for the next trip that we do. And then Chris's, he was so chuffed because I don't know if you guys know, but when we last went on a trip in this van, I was pregnant with Aurora. It was the Arctic trip, and I was still breastfeeding, co-sleeping with Mila, pregnant with Aurora, and the older 3 girls and Jace were also in this van. So we're a family of 7 in this van. And Chris, this was Chris's bed. There you go. That floor space there for the whole trip is where Chris slept. So as you can imagine, he was absolutely buzzing to be able to have his own actual bed on this trip. It worked so well, and it was just perfect. Not only did he have space to sleep on a night time, but he also had somewhere to sit and edit, and he was able to make himself a coffee. And because we use white noise in our family to sleep, nobody was disturbed by him moving around. He had this whole sofa to like chill. We've got a table here that's just connected onto the wall that he was able to just pop out every single night when all of us were asleep in bed. He'd pop the table out, put it here, do his work, and then the table kind of drops down to create his bed. The cushions all move around a little bit and it creates his bed. So he was absolutely buzzing with that. Also, I forgot to show this when I was showing the sofas before, unless Chris put a montage in. Maybe Chris will have put a montage in, so you might have already seen this. But the sofa also got a little side table upgrade. So this part here, this actually worked really well for like Isabel sometimes when we were driving and she wanted somewhere to put a book or her phone. It literally just pops up like that. It's just a bit of extra space, and when you're in a van you want all the extra space you can get. So that worked really well. And also on a night time when all of the cushions move around to create Chris's bed, this cushion actually pulls down, another one slots in behind, and it makes the bed much wider. And I think that's everything from me. I think that's everything. Chris said he wants to do all the technical things that he'd upgraded, but yeah, I think that's everything from me. I think this trip was definitely my favourite. I loved that the girls had their own space, were able to do their own thing, watch their own movies on a night time. They absolutely loved it. So I know lots of you guys are wondering, which one do I prefer, the RV or this setup that we've got here? And it's a definite close call, but I did love this trip in this van. And if you guys, well, you guys do know that I said after the Arctic trip in this van last year when I was pregnant with Aurora, not last year, the year before, I did say I'm not going anywhere again in the Sprinter van. Like, it's too small for our family, it doesn't work. And now I feel differently. Now that we've made a couple of adaptaments that weren't even that expensive, I feel differently about the Sprinter van now, and I actually look forward to future trips in this van. That doesn't mean to say we'll never ever use the RV again, but I definitely have a new found love for van life again. Proper van life, rugged van life. It's definitely a certain type of adventure. It's a unique type of adventure, and one that you just can't match any other way. You've got to do it in a van to be able to know and experience it properly. But yeah, I'm going to pass you over to Chris now so he can talk about technical.
Bet you thought I was joking when I said that I couldn't be bothered. It's like, I couldn't be bothered. I'm not listening to that again, honestly. I just refuse. I refuse. Outright refuse. I'm not quite sure whether I would have rather have watched this again or watched Sarah go to B&M Bargains. I'm not sure. It's a toss-up, if I'm being honest. Really. Yeah. I hope you've been enjoying it. Don't worry, it gets better. It gets very much better.
Bits.
Okay, let's have a bit of a geek out. So in this van for this trip, if you've not seen any of our previous van tour videos of this van, it's been through quite a few major changes in its lifetime with us since we bought it in 2021.
Was that only 3 years ago? Fucking honestly, it feels a lot longer. It feels a lot longer since you got that stupid van, right? It does. The amount of times you've gone on about the van, you've been on these stupid van tours, van trips, van life, whatever it is you want to call it. The amount of times you've had it upgraded, downgraded, sideways graded, you sold it, you bought it back again. It feels like a lot longer than just 3 years, honestly. And that is not testament to how exciting this van is, right?
It's been on a heck of a lot of major missions as well and done a lot of miles, and she's never ever failed us once.
I'm going to say, yes, I agree, she's never ever failed you, but didn't she nearly slip off the side of an icy road one time? Another time she caused you to have a panic attack on the road. I think that's about it, actually. There's probably more instances, to be honest, but yeah, all in all, not blown up yet. It's not, positive. Fingers crossed that remains the case.
Something I'm really proud of, actually, and not just I'm talking about mechanically wise. I'm talking about nothing in the back end here has ever failed us either. So everything that I built has never failed us.
As if it would. My God, Chris. Something that you built would never ever fail, alright? Never. I swear. You are like the master mechanical, master builder, master something else as well.
Yet. But for this trip round, she has had a few modifications, and I'm going to run through them with you right now, as well as the old stuff for anyone here that is new and has never seen one of our van tour videos before. So this is a long wheelbase Sprinter, and she's currently sitting on a 50mm lift kit. And she's had a number of suspension components upgraded to premium versions of the stock versions from Mercedes, basically, so that her suspension is boss. I am very tempted to upgrade for the next trip and upgrade her to a 100mm lift kit, because the lift kits just look insane on these, especially with the Black Rhino and KO2s I've got on them on the wheels. They just look. It just looks like a 4x4. It's not 4x4, but it certainly looks like a 4x4 from the outside. And I love that look. So this van is completely off-grid, self-sufficient, and she's never let us down once. So in the back here, this whole back area, everything, the lights, the 240 outlets. Everything that I've got going on in the back is all powered by 600 amp hours worth of AGM batteries, which are in a compartment underneath the rear bed there. We've also got a 3000 watt inverter that powers everything on our 240 volt sockets, and then we've got obviously your usual Victron alternator, B2B charging system, plus we have 600 watts of solar on the roof, both panels mounted on top of the 2 Fiamma boxes that we have to hold all of our extra gear and stuff that's up there on the roof. Now, those AGMs we've had since the very beginning, and I am 100% replacing them for this trip that we've got coming up next. I'm going to be replacing all of the batteries in this with a new 1000 amp hour lithium setup. So I've been eyeing this up for a while. I'm also going to be having installed a second alternator, which is just going to be in there for charging the rear batteries up alone. And I'm going to have a second, potentially a third, Victron B2B charging unit as well. And that should give us a heck of a lot more range to stay off grid and give us no issues whatsoever when we're traveling anywhere off grid. If the weather's bad and we've got no solar, if we're not doing long drives every other day to charge them back up, this should sort that problem out altogether. So at the minute, typically when we're packed up, let's say we're packed up on a beach somewhere, we're charging things, we're using the air fryer, etc, etc. Usually throughout a day, we maybe will use up around 25% of battery-ish. If it's a sunny day, that will be topped up by the solar as well. But around about 25% battery per day-ish is probably a good average. And then obviously when we're driving, if we're driving the next day somewhere, that will charge back up to full from the alternator B2B chargers. But if we're on a beach for a few days at a time, then those batteries are not getting topped up outside of the solar. And so we've learned that if we want to be off grid for a number of days in a row, let's just say in a forest in the snow in Scandinavia in winter, something like that, where there's no solar helping and we're purely relying on the engine alternator to be charging the batteries when we're driving somewhere. Yes, we can start the engine where we're stood and have it just ticking over, charging the batteries as we're living in the van, but that's not ideal. It's not good either, and it doesn't charge the batteries very fast. So you'd be ticking the engine over for hours and hours and hours just to give you any sort of a top up, which is not good for your engine, not good for anything. But this battery upgrade that I'm going to be doing now is going to change that. It's going to give us a number of more extra days off grid and be able to stay away from having to charge and top up quite so much. Another added bonus to the lithium batteries is they're a lot lighter than AGM batteries as well, which is going to reduce some weight, which is what vans building is all about, getting as much weight reduction as possible. And so yeah, that's going to be happening really, really soon. So I'm looking forward to doing that within the next few weeks. So for this time around, we have an external CCTV system, of which is on this monitor that you turn on here. The cameras are basically placed all around the van so that we can see everything all the time. One of the main reasons I wanted to get that was so that when we're parked up in the wild with the caravan, especially when the caravan's parked on the back of us or it's parked at the side of us, I can see everything that's going on. So if I hear any noises in the night, I can just check the screens and I can see what's going on, see whether there's anything up and I need to go intervene or make sure the girls and everything around the caravan, etc. is all good. It's kind of a pet in the night. You do sometimes when you're wild camping places, you do always hear things in the night or hear things in the morning, like bumps or whatever, and you're always kind of like tempted to look out the window just to make sure nothing dodgy is going on or there's no dodges around your van or anything weird going on. So having this system where we can just turn the cameras on basically and look all around the vehicle at all times is amazing. They're also motion censored, so if I turn on the motion sensors, then they'll beep and let me know if anyone is walking outside the van. It happened a couple of times on this trip just now. One of the times it was an animal, and then the other times it was literally just a guy early in the morning who was interested in the van, like an older gentleman who was just having a look, you know, at the van and all around it while we were asleep. But that has been game changing for this particular trip that we've just done, and yeah, highly recommend for sure. Just for peace of mind, if anything else, when you're in bed at night and you hear a bump outside, you don't have to move, you can just literally just look over at your screens and see what's going on. I should just mention as well that these record as well, so you can insert a memory card into these and they record everything that they're filming. So you can, when you're out of the van, they will record, and then you can go back and see what's happened when you get back, or if you do end up having a break-in or anything like that, you've got evidence to show what went on and what went down. I think these cameras especially saved our van when we were in Florence on this last trip, because it's staying in a car park. We got back from a day in Florence and a number of vehicles have been broken into, and ours, for some magic reason, even though all the vehicles around us had been smashed in and robbed, ours was left alone, and I'm pretty sure that those cameras is what saved the van on that time. So super grateful for those on this last trip. But one of the absolute game changers for this year, this trip that we've just been on, is 100% a roof mounted Starlink. I'm sure I definitely do not need to tell you guys what Starlink is, but it has been game changing on this trip. Usually we have, in the past, either I will just buy a plan on my phone for, I think it was usually around £5 per day with my provider, and that gave us unlimited data, and then everyone would just hotspot me, because it has unlimited hotspot and unlimited data, which it was annoying, to be fair, because my phone just got rinsed and my battery got rinsed, and it was a pain, especially when you're in places that are remote and you don't have any internet signal. When you're uploading videos on YouTube every day, sometimes it can become, you know, super difficult to be able to stay somewhere that's super remote when you haven't got any phone signal, because you're not going to be able to do your job. So Starlink has been game changer for 100%. The only thing that's a little bit annoying with Starlink is obviously it doesn't work if you're parked under a tree or anything like that. But you know, I guess that's the con of having it roof mounted. You don't have to mount it to your roof of your motorhome. You can just leave the Starlink out so that you can put the satellite receiver anywhere that's clear. So if we were staying under a tree, I could just go and mount the Starlink satellite dish away from the van, basically. That wasn't under the tree, and it would work perfect. But for convenience, mounting it to the roof so it's always mounted there, and all we have to do is literally have it turned on and it's working the whole time, because we pay for the premium subscription so that you've got internet when you're moving as well. Starlink comes in lots of different subscriptions. You can pay, I think it was £85 for the standard one, which basically only gives you internet when you are still. It doesn't let you drive and use the internet. And then there's a premium package that you pay, it's actually a lot more for. But that gives you internet all the time. So when you're moving, when you're stood still, all the time. So that can just be on, and you've got internet 24/7. It's unlimited internet as well. Wherever you register the Starlink, that's whatever continent you're on when you register the Starlink, that's the continent that it works unlimited for all the time. So we registered ours here in England, so in Europe. So wherever we are in Europe, it works. Aside from Turkey, I don't think it works in Turkey at the minute, but Starlink, game changing, absolutely amazing. So although it's a bit of a premium, especially for the one where you can use it when you're moving, it's worth it. It's been amazing. It's so fast. It's always lightning quick, and it's just absolutely brilliant. Another thing that I absolutely love, and it looks really dull on this camera for some reason, but it's bright as heck in real life, is my weather station. So we've got temperature sensors all over the van, inside and out. This is the outside temperature, this is the front driver temperature, this is the bedroom where Sarah sleeps temperature, and this is the main cabin temperature where I'm stood now. So you can get readings from all over and see what your van's doing. This is super interesting. I found when you're in somewhere like the Arctic Circle, when you can see all the nice negative numbers on there. It's really, really cool. Cool, obviously, if you're a massive nerd like me, which clearly I am. So, you know, that's all good. I'm trying to think of anything else that's really, really cool in here. I'm sure you've probably all seen the bathroom before now. We have some storage here. We've got a shower here, sink that folds down, and folds back up here, storage, and then just a normal porta toilet. Outside of the weather station, the other thing that's a big thing for this year is that we have an air conditioning machine under this seat here. So underneath this seat here, I don't know if it's ever shown this, but there's a second fridge. Underneath this seat here, there's an air conditioning machine, and you can see the ports, 1 and then 2 down here that comes out of. It's a Truma Sapphire. This here, Truma Sapphire air conditioner, and you just use that remote control to turn it on and off, and it's absolutely unreal. The air conditioner will run off grid on the batteries, no issue. I mean, it takes them power down fairly swiftly. I mean, not too swiftly, it still works fine. But you'll definitely maybe only get one night's usage out of the battery bank with the air conditioner on. That's another reason as well why upgrading the battery bank is super important. You need the more powerful items like an air conditioner, you need more and more battery power, so that's another reason for upgrading them also. In the corner over here, underneath here. We've got diesel heater 1 and diesel heater 2. I've got 2 diesel heaters in here. 1 is a backup that is basically never been used. It's purely there. It was there in 2023 winter when we went to the top of the Arctic Circle, just in case one of the diesel heaters broke down, because that's like death situation up there. That we had a spare one ready to go. So it's got 2 diesel heaters, 1 air conditioner, Xbox obviously, and everywhere's got smart TVs. The younger two's bottom bunk has a smart TV, Netflix, YouTube, etc. We've got one on our bed and we've got one in the living room here also. Very, very lastly, the only other thing I can think of, this van does not have an oven. So we used to have an electric oven in here, but we removed it for space for the air conditioner. We never used the electric oven anyway. I've never once used the electric oven in here when we've been off grid. If we're doing something like, I don't know, garlic bread or something, I can think of for an oven, we'd just use the air fryer anyway or something like that, so it really isn't a big deal. We do have a microwave, which is down there underneath the car seat here, which has a cupboard next to it. 100% for me, one of the biggest game changers for this whole trip has been this new custom sofa that we had. The bare bones of this sofa were already there. We had them extended a little bit, and then these custom beautiful cushions made, and they're so comfy, memory foam. They're just absolutely lovely. This is turned into my bed, so these bits are my mattress every night. And trust, I am the fussiest about what I'm sleeping on, and these are just, they're so comfy. I've loved sleeping on these this summer. It's been great. So just to really quickly run through all the exterior features of this van, we're going to start at the very back. Where the double doors open at the back of the van, you've got massive amounts of storage with the mule carrier box and the two-lay box also attached to the mule racks, as you can see on the back there. These create absolutely insane amounts of space for storage, for anything you can imagine. Then at the back, just underneath the bottom bed, pulls out an outdoor kitchen, which is equipped with, at the minute, wood, which we've carried all the way from the very top of the Arctic Circle. It's been in there since we visited in this van just over a year ago. Also, we've got a dual burner gas stove in there and all the utensils and bits and bobs that you need to cook outside. Up onto the top of the van, in front of the 2 Fiamma boxes, which are insane amounts of storage as well, which we definitely need as a big family. In front of there, we've got a roof decking and then the Starlink mounted satellite dish. Then moving around to the front of the van, one of my biggest and most favourite upgrades for this trip has been the new front lighting that I've got from a company called Oxbeam. Oxbeam are amazing. They were recommended to me by loads of different van lifers on different van life groups, etc., for being super good. I had looked at another brand that I'd seen when we were in Scandinavia, but these Oxbeam were just they were just better. They were just awesome. And one of the biggest and best selling points from Oxbeam was the fact that they come with this multi-control panel that's mounted just over the cabin, so you can control all of the lighting, all of the different settings for each light, all from one control panel right above your head. And that is pretty much it. That is our 2024 Mercedes Sprinter roundup, and the van, as it is now, will be getting modified for another trip that's coming up shortly. Only minor modifications, like I said, to the battery bank and the way things get charged, things like that. A few minor cosmetic changes maybe as well, but for the most part we're super happy with the way that she is, the way that she runs, the way that she lives in at the minute, and yeah, it's fantastic. Bring on some more van life and slash caravan life adventures with all of us together as a family, using both the van and the caravan together as one big adventure vehicle.
Oh my god, is it finished? Is it done? Oh my word. Yeah, that was quite the van tour, wasn't it? It was fantastic. I only woke up a few times, just enough to say a few words, and then went back to sleep. Sorry. I did try to warn you. Actually, no, I lied a little bit at the beginning, didn't I? I said that it was going to be brilliant. I told you to carry on watching. I told you knowing what you were about to watch, and for that, I'll be eternally sorry. But at the end of the day, I'm not that sorry. If you've made it right to the end, wow. Okay, wow. Just wow. I'm not going to lie. You are stars of your own time, right? If you've made it this far, honestly, I couldn't be prouder of you. Chris is proud of his camp van, and I'm proud of you guys for reaching the end of tour of camp van. Right, fuck you know. Yeah, that was 50 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry. One of these days, I'm going to make a video, right, that is worth watching. I feel like I'm on the cusp of making one of those videos. Right now, it's like, you know, it is what it is. But I swear, if Sarah goes to B&M's and does a haul in the next video, I'm not doing it. I'm not even going to watch it, let alone react to it. I can't do it. I honestly can't. So Sarah, if you are interested in shutting me up and stopping me discussing your ins and outs and your dirty laundry and all that, right? Just do a few shopping hauls, B&M's and things like that. That might just actually shut me up, right? It might also drive away a lot of people, but anyway, there you go. Such is life, isn't it? Anyway, please just give this video a thumbs up if you will. I went to a little bit of effort to put it together, so you know, can't say I went to a lot of effort. I'm not gonna lie. But do that, yeah. Comment all of your thoughts about it down below if you have any thoughts about said camp van, and yeah, sub to the channel if you're new. I'm not sure why you would sub based on this video, but you know, it's there. The button is there for your perusal and your use if you should so wish. You know, it's there for a reason. Use it, please. Anyway, yes, thank you all so much for actually taking the time. Until next time, have a brilliant day. Come back tomorrow for more takes. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come back tomorrow for more takes on this wonderful world that we live in. Until next time, have a brilliant day. Take care and bye-bye.